All right, this is going to get a lot of bitchy YouTube and enraged YouTube and Twitter comments. This question, I actually was considering I might do this in some version on Sunday's TMBS. The Mad Mailman, can you weigh in on the Tulsi camp keeping Anna off of the Gabbard TYT interview? Yes, I can.
Is Sam going to let you?
That's really the big question.
Yeah. Well, go for it.
So if this video goes up and I am deplatformed, as I was so rudely around Dave Rubin, hold Sam accountable for the violent suppression of speech. No, but look, Anna did a video, and everybody knows. I mean, Anna and I work together. I think Anna does awesome work. A lot of respect for each other. She did a video that focused on the obvious questions in Tulsi's record. Just obvious ones. If you're progressive, you would have a question about her support for drones. You'd have a question for her ambiguity on torture. You'd have questions about her voting against refugees. Now, she did an interview with Cenk. I watched it. Some people think that the answers were great. I thought the answers, I'll give her credit. I thought she was quite transparent in her answers. I think she's quite clear about who she is. And I like some of that. I like the anti-interventionist message. I like the environmental message. I like the message on Venezuela. But she reaffirmed with Cenk, even just like framing on there being like serious, like security questions at the border. No, there aren't. There are not. That's a inaccurate way of looking at that problem. She said when she voted against the majority of Democrats and even against, James Comey, then director of the FBI, kind of suggesting that these additional procedures would be a burden. She indicated that Obama supported what she voted for. I'm sort of unclear about what she's referencing there. But she voted against most Democrats for far more onerous burdens on Syrian refugees. Now, if you understand how this vetting process actually works, you're talking that even before that bill was passed, probably at least a year before, and this is pre-Trump, mind you, at least a year before somebody could even get to the states to complete that process. The vetting was rigorous as hell. The only reason in my mind that you would vote for that is if you are genuinely buying into some version of really deep paranoia about Muslims or people coming from Syria. And again, I disagree with that. We have different positions. I appreciate that Tulsi's not spinning and equivocating. I think she's providing pretty clear answers. They're clear answers that I and most people who have left-wing politics would disagree with. Just as I agree with what she said about Maduro, and I agree generally about cutting defense spending and investing in the country. That's great. Cool. Then the other thing, she's stand by her use of Islamic terrorism as a moniker. The obvious and then what was incredible was that in the interview, she actually pivoted to, well, there's this Wahhabi strain that's funded by the Saudis. I wouldn't necessarily, I think strategically and morally, I would decouple terrorism from any rhetoric of Islam as much as possible, just as a practical matter for even just civic realities in the United States and Europe. That being said, when she pivoted to Wahhabism, already way more specific and way less problematic than the insistence of Islamic. And again, I don't understand how somebody with left-wing politics would not see that a Democratic congresswoman intervening against Obama, not on anything of substance. Obama's bombing Syria. Obama is using drones extraordinarily aggressively and killing plenty of civilians in Yemen and Pakistan. To intervene to say, no, to literally make the Sam Harris argument that you need to call it something. What is the upshot of that? What is the upshot of that in a world where Muslims are surveilled, where Guantanamo isn't closed, and there's a global drone campaign? And if you think that you need to use that specific word to condemn ISIS or condemn Al-Qaeda or deal with the intricacies of foreign policy with Saudi Arabia, you need to make a case that nobody has made. Because anytime I hear it from a Republican freaking out on TV, or Sam Harris whining on his podcast, or Tulsi Gabbard articulating herself well to Cenk, it never holds up ever. And there is never an answer as to how this wouldn't, in fact, put Muslims in the United States in further harm's way culturally, in a place where there's a rise in hate crimes. So Anna did a video that, again, especially if you're a Tulsi supporter, you should want to get out in front of and not respond like some, lunatic dingbat cultist on Twitter. You would say, okay, either you're misrepresenting her position, and here's how. They always say that they're misrepresenting her position, but then always just basically say what Trump would say, which is like, no, that is my position, but it's the nice version. That's not me. You have not demonstrated. In order to say that you've misrepresented her position, you have to say, no, she actually took the different vote on refugees. You understand how that works? That's what you need to do. So Anna did this video, and Anna, who I trust completely, said Tulsi agreed to come on the Young Turks, but wouldn't get interviewed by her. And I think that that's a bad call. I think Cenk did a good job. And I think that Anna absolutely would have treated her fairly and respectfully, but asked her tough questions and maybe some follow-ups. When I was strongly supporting Bernie Sanders in 2016, I said immediately, the way this dude is responding to Black Lives Matter activists is bad, and he needs to up his game. That's what you do for a candidate that you actually want to see win. And I'm not saying accept bullshit. Obviously, I don't accept bullshit about Bernie. But none of these issues, I went back and forth with somebody. I said, hey, I would be happy if Tulsi could be my second choice. Do you know? I mean, look, let's be stylistically. She does yoga. She's from Hawaii. She's opposed to intervention in Venezuela. Like, she wants single payer. Like, great. Tulsi Gabbard and I could meet each other at some ridiculous health spa in New York City. Okay, like Tulsi Gabbard seems like cool, theoretically.
She surfs.
She surfs. Awesome. Everybody's response. Literally, I'm getting Reddit threads of her shaking hands with Muslim constituents. That's not what I'm talking about. And if you can't understand that difference, you're not able to think analytically, and then you're not able to properly defend your candidate. Or if you want to come out and say, actually, in some ways, she has some extremely right-wing views, I support her anyways, cool. But that's not my politics. I don't vote against refugees. And I thought Bernie's initial answers on drones, I thought Bernie's answers in 2016 about partnering up with the King of Jordan to take on ISIS sucked. And I said it contemporaneously. I think that the fact that he's re-entering the Iran deal, talking clearly about the treatment of the Palestinians, being the only major candidate to talk about what's happening in Brazil, and still coming to right position on Venezuela, while centering global oligarchy and climate change, I think that deserves a lot of props. So move. Move. And again, the last thing I'll say, I mean, to her credit, she isn't really moving, but I don't like where she is. And all Anna did was articulate what is public record. And you're going to need to figure out a better way of dealing with that than, endless evasion, conspiracy theories, and whining. Anna's report should have been seen as an opportunity by people that support Tulsi Gabbard. And an interview with Anna might have actually turned out great for Tulsi. So, sad. Very sad. You're calling from a 718 area code. Who are you? Where are you calling from? So, no, sorry. Yeah, 713. My bad.